When God is about to give you something big, it feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting for that moment of breakthrough. But the truth is, before He blesses you with the big things, He first prepares you through the quiet, unseen moments. It's in the waiting, the trusting, and sometimes the doubting that God does His most important work. You see, God is not like man. He doesn't rush. He doesn't give the blessing too early or too late. He gives it in perfect timing, and sometimes that timing feels uncomfortable, even unbearable. But hear me today, my friends. He's never late. He's never too early. He is always on time. He's working things out in ways that you cannot see. And when the time comes, when the breakthrough finally arrives, you'll look back and realize that the waiting, the struggle, the trials, they were all part of the divine preparation for what God was getting ready to pour out in your life. There's a story in the Bible that we all know well, the story of Joseph. Joseph had a dream. He had a vision of greatness, a vision of his family bowing before him. It was a big vision, one that was hard to believe. And my friends, sometimes when God gives you something big, it's so big that you can't even comprehend how it will come to pass. But what Joseph didn't know, what no one could have known, was that before he would rise to power, he would face betrayal, rejection, loneliness, and even imprisonment. Joseph was thrown into a pit, and in that pit, it seemed as though all his hopes and dreams were lost. He must have asked, why God? Why did you give me this dream and then allow this to happen? But Joseph didn't realize that the pit was only the beginning of the preparation. It was the training ground for the great things God was about to do in his life. And when Joseph finally stood before Pharaoh, when the dream he had received so many years ago came true, he could see the hand of God in every moment of his trial. The rejection was necessary, the prison was necessary, the hurt, the pain, the confusion. It was all part of God's process of preparation. God didn't give him the dream and leave him to figure it out. No, He walked with him every step of the way, and my friends, God is doing the same for you. You may not see it now, but every tear, every sleepless night, every closed door is part of His plan for you. When God is about to give you something big, He first builds your character, strengthens your faith, and refines you for the blessing. It's like a blacksmith forging a sword. The heat, the pressure, the hammering, though it seems harsh at the moment, are all part of making that sword sharp and strong. Without the fire, the sword would be weak. Without the testing, you would not be ready for what God has in store. But don't be afraid of the testing. Don't be afraid of the trial. It is in the fire that you are purified. It is in the trial that your faith is made stronger. And when the blessing comes, when you step into that place of favor and abundance, you will realize that the trials were not to harm you, but to prepare you for what God was always going to give you. When God is about to give you something big, He may ask you to trust Him when it doesn't make sense. He may ask you to keep walking when the path is unclear. He may ask you to hold on when your strength is gone. But my friends, that's when your faith matters most. It's easy to trust God when everything is going well, but real faith is trusting Him when you're standing in the middle of a storm, when the winds are howling, when the waves are crashing around you, and it feels like you're sinking. That's when God will show up. That's when He will prove Himself faithful. I believe that God is speaking to some of you right now. You've been through the fire. You've been in the pit. You've been through seasons of hurt and disappointment. But I want you to know He has not forgotten you. He is not finished with you. He is preparing you for something big, something greater than you could ask or imagine. And when that blessing comes, when that door opens, when the vision He gave you is fulfilled, you will look back and say, I didn't see it then, but I see it now. God was with me every step of the way. So don't lose heart. Don't give up. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep obeying. God is about to give you something big, and when it arrives, it will be worth every moment of the wait. His plans for you are good, and His timing is perfect. Step out in faith, hold on to His promises, and watch as He opens doors you never thought possible, and pours out blessings you never imagined. There's something sacred about the stillness, my friends. A kind of divine hush that settles in your spirit when heaven seems quiet. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've prayed and heard nothing. You've fasted and felt no shift. You've waited and watched everyone else get ahead. while your own life feels like it's standing still. But I want to tell you tonight, God often speaks the loudest through silence. That stillness, that quiet season where nothing seems to move, where the phone doesn't ring, the door doesn't open, and the opportunity doesn't come, it's not a sign that God has forgotten you. It's a sign that He's preparing something bigger than your imagination can hold. Do you know how a storm brews before it breaks? The air gets heavy, the sky darkens, the birds go silent, and for just a moment everything is still. Then suddenly the clouds burst and the heavens open. That's exactly how it is before a major move of God in your life. There's always a stillness. It's not emptiness, it's expectation. I remember a time early in my own life when the Lord called me to preach. I had the fire, I had the passion, but I had no stage, no pulpit, no crowd. Just me, my Bible, and a deep, holy hunger to serve. And it seemed for months nothing moved. Every door I knocked on stayed shut. I asked the Lord, "Why would you call me and then go silent?" And He said to my spirit, "Because I'm building you. I'm teaching you to hear me, not just through noise, but through stillness." You see, sometimes we want the thunder and the lightning, the big moments, the grand signs, the miraculous encounters. But God whispers in the quiet. He molds us in the solitude. He builds character when no one is watching, so when the blessing does come, it doesn't crush us, it carries us. I've spoken with countless people over the years who have been in that still season, mothers waiting for healing in their children, young men waiting for their purpose, couples praying for a child, business owners on the edge of collapse, still trusting God. And what I've learned is this: if the silence lasts long, it's because the blessing coming is heavy. God doesn't rush glory, He prepares us to carry it. So if you're in that stillness right now, don't despise it. Don't try to escape it. Lean in, ask God, "What are you shaping in me right now?" Because I promise you, when God is about to give you something big, He doesn't shout, He whispers. He hides you, He holds you back. Not to punish you, but to preserve you. And when that stillness lifts, when the winds of heaven begin to stir, you'll look back and thank Him for every silent day, every lonely night, every prayer that felt unanswered. Because you'll realize that the stillness wasn't a pause in your story, it was the foundation of your breakthrough. When God is preparing to bless you in a big way, He will often begin by taking things away. It can feel cruel, it can feel confusing, but I want to tell you, it's not punishment. It's asterisk asterisk pruning asterisk asterisk. Before God multiplies your life, He simplifies it. Before He adds, He subtracts. Some of you are in that place right now. Things are being stripped from you. Relationships are ending. Jobs are slipping through your fingers. Comforts are being removed. What once felt secure now feels unstable. And your heart is crying out, asterisk a God. Why? Asterisk, but I want you to hear me, asterisk asterisk. He takes away only what you cannot take with you, asterisk asterisk, into your next season. He's not punishing you. He's asterisk preparing asterisk you. He's removing what no longer fits your future. I remember speaking with a young man who had lost everything in a single year. His business, his fiancée, his apartment. He sat across from me with tears in his eyes and said, asterisk, "I must have done something wrong." Asterisk, but I looked at him and said, asterisk, "No, son, you're just on God's anvil. He's shaping you." Asterisk, that same man, just 2 years later, would be leading a ministry touching lives across 3 nations. You see, asterisk asterisk, what feels like loss is often God clearing space for legacy asterisk asterisk. Think of Joseph. Before he was given authority in Egypt, he was stripped of his robe, his freedom, his family. God allowed him to be thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Why? Because he was preparing Joseph for asterisk palace-level responsibility asterisk. The robe of favoritism had to go so he could wear the robe of royalty. And let's not forget Job, a righteous man, a blameless man, yet God allowed him to be stripped of everything, his wealth, his children, his health. But Job didn't curse God. He clung to Him, and what happened in the end? The Bible says God blessed him with asterisk twice as much as he had before. Asterisk, not because Job was perfect, but because he was Faithful in the fire. When God is about to give you something big, he often starts with subtraction. He removes the things you've leaned on so you can lean on him. He takes away the distractions so your heart becomes fully his. And that's not a sign that he's far, it's a sign that he's near. Right in the middle of the storm, right in the middle of the tears, God is cutting away everything that doesn't belong in your next chapter. So don't resist the stripping. Don't hold on so tightly to what God is trying to remove. If he's taking it away, it's because it's too small for the blessing he's bringing. Your old way of thinking won't fit the new calling. That relationship you're mourning may have been the very thing keeping you from your destiny. The door that closed wasn't rejection. It was redirection. I've seen it in my own life. There were seasons when God took away friendships I thought I needed, opportunities I thought were divine, platforms I thought were mine to stand on. But every time he removed something, he replaced it with something better, something bigger, something that carried eternal value, not always right away, not always in the way I expected, but always in the way I needed. So if you're being stripped today, don't be afraid. It means you're being trusted, because God only prunes what he plans to grow, and the deeper the stripping, the greater the harvest. Faith is not proven in the sunshine. Faith is proven in the storm, and when God is about to give you something big, something that will shift your destiny, shake your surroundings, and bless others through you, he will test your faith first, not to harm you, not to shame you, but to prepare you to carry what he's about to release. We love to talk about blessings. We shout about breakthrough, but few are willing to walk through the fire it takes to receive it. You see, God doesn't just bless your hands, he blesses your heart, and before he trusts you with more, he wants to see what you'll do with less. He wants to know, will you still believe me when the promise is far off? Will you still worship when it hurts? Will you still obey when you don't understand? Faith is not just saying I believe it's living it out when nothing makes sense. Think of Abraham. God gave him a promise that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars, and then he asked him to sacrifice the very son through whom the promise was to come. That's not just a test of obedience, that's a test of trust, a test of identity, a test of surrender. Abraham didn't just walk up Mount Moriah with Isaac. He walked up that mountain with every ounce of faith he had, and just when the knife was raised, God said, now I know. Not because God didn't already know Abraham's heart, but because Abraham needed to prove to himself that his faith was greater than his fear. You and I go through the same tests. Maybe God isn't asking you to lay your child on the altar, but maybe he's asking you to lay down your plan. Maybe he's asking you to trust him with your finances when the numbers don't add up. Maybe he's asking you to keep walking when your strength is gone, and everything inside of you is saying, God, why? But hear this, friend. Before every great assignment in Scripture, there was a test of faith. Moses had to stand before the Red Sea before he ever led a nation into freedom. David had to stand before Goliath with nothing but a sling and trust that his God was enough. Esther had to go before the king not knowing if she would live or die. Jesus himself was led into the wilderness to be tempted to fast, to face the enemy before he performed a single miracle. Faith is not comfortable. It will stretch you. It will break you. It will strip away every illusion of control you have. But it will also anchor you to the only thing that never changes the character of God I've met people who have walked through unthinkable tests, diagnoses that should have broken them, losses that should have destroyed them, but they kept their faith, not because they were strong, but because their God was. And when the blessing came, when the healing arrived, when the door opened, when the calling unfolded, it didn't just bless them, it became a testimony to everyone around them, because tested faith becomes contagious faith. You may be in a test right now. You may be wondering if God sees you, hears you, still remembers what he promised you, and I want to tell you, he does. This is not the end. This is the test before the reward, the refining before the release. He's not trying to break your faith. He's trying to make it bulletproof, because when the blessing comes, when the big you've been praying for finally arrives, you'll look back on this test and you'll say, asterisk, if I made it through that, I can handle this. If God was faithful then, he'll be faithful now. Asterisk, and your faith, tested and tried, will be the very thing that holds the weight of the blessing to come. When God is about to give you something big, he doesn't just change your circumstances. He changes your asterisk vision asterisk. He stretches your eyes to see beyond where you are to where he's calling you to go. He enlarges your thinking, your dreaming, your capacity, because what he's about to place in your hands requires a bigger heart, a broader mind, and a deeper trust. You see, God won't put a palace-sized purpose in a wilderness-sized mindset. He first stretches your vision to match the size of the blessing, and let me tell you, stretching doesn't feel good. It pulls you out of the familiar. It pushes you into the uncomfortable. It forces you to look at your life and realize that what asterisk has been asterisk is no longer enough for what asterisk will be asterisk. It's God pulling back the curtain and saying, asterisk, look again. There's more. Asterisk, I remember a young man who had grown up in a small town. His dream was to open a little store and provide for his family. A good dream, a safe dream. But one night, during a time of prayer, he felt the Lord whisper, asterisk, I didn't create you for small things. I created you to impact nations, asterisk, and it shook him. How could someone with no resources, no connections, no experience, step into something that big? But God wasn't asking for qualifications. He was asking for asterisk, asterisk, faith, asterisk, asterisk. That man went on to start a company that now funds clean water projects across the globe. But it all began with a stretched vision. When God is ready to bless you, he'll start placing ideas in your heart that feel too big for your budget, too far for your feet, too grand for your grasp. He's not teasing you. He's training you to believe that with him, asterisk, nothing is impossible, asterisk. Stretching often starts in the quiet corners of your life. You'll start to feel discontent with what used to satisfy you. The job that once brought joy starts to feel like a cage. The circles that used to energize you begin to drain you. The things you used to dream about start to seem too small. That's not arrogance, that's not ingratitude. That's God awakening asterisk new vision asterisk inside of you. It's what happened to Nehemiah. He was just a cupbearer, faithful, obscure, tucked away in the palace. But then one day, his heart broke for the broken walls of Jerusalem. He saw something no one else was seeing. His vision was stretched, and that stretch became his assignment. And with that assignment came divine provision, supernatural favor, and a legacy that still speaks today. But the stretch always comes first. God pulls your heart toward a future you can't yet touch. He makes you uncomfortable with ordinary. He starts asking questions like asterisk, what if, what more, what's next? Asterisk, and he shows you glimpses, just enough to keep you moving, just enough to stir your spirit, because he knows that your vision is the container for your blessing. If your vision is too small, the blessing will spill. But if you let him stretch you, you'll be able to hold what he's about to pour out. Some of you are there right now. You're dreaming of writing that book, starting that ministry, launching that idea. But fear has you frozen. I'm here to tell you, asterisk, asterisk, don't shrink the vision to fit your reality. Stretch your faith to match his promise. Asterisk, asterisk, what God wants to do through you will challenge everything you thought you were capable of, and that's exactly how he wants it. So that when it happens, asterisk, no one gets the glory but him, asterisk. The stretch is not the punishment. The stretch is the setup. It's the holy tension between where you are and where God is taking you, and if you embrace it, if you'll dare to dream again, believe again, risk again, you'll step into something so much bigger than you ever imagined. When God is about to give you something big, one of the clearest signs is opposition. Not just minor inconvenience or random resistance, but real spiritual pressure. A weight you can't explain, a storm that rises out of nowhere, people you trusted turning away, doors that should be open slamming shut. And if you're not discerning, you'll mistake it for God abandoning you. But it's actually the asterisk enemy reacting to your elevation asterisk. The devil doesn't fight people who are going nowhere. He fights those on the verge of breakthrough. He fights purpose. He fights calling. He fights the promise before it's born. That's why the pressure increases right before the blessing arrives. It's not a coincidence. It's confirmation. You're not losing ground. You're asterisk gaining asterisk it. You're not under attack because you're weak. You're under attack because you're carrying something powerful. I've seen it happen time and again in the lives of people called by God. Just before they stepped into the biggest opportunities of their lives, all hell broke loose. Finances dried up. Friends walked away. Health was shaken. It was as if the enemy threw everything he had at them in one final attempt to make them quit. But the ones who stood firm, who held to God's word even when it didn't make sense, those are the ones who walked into the promise. Look at Jesus. Before he began his public ministry, he was led into the wilderness and tempted by the devil. Not after, before asterisk. Because the enemy knew that once Jesus began, lives would be healed, truth would be preached, and chains would be broken. So he attacked early. He attacked hard. But Jesus didn't shrink back. He stood on the word of God and declared, it is written, that's your weapon in the face of opposition, not panic, not retreat, the word, the promises God spoke over you, the vision he gave you in the quiet place. You cling to that like your life depends on it, because your destiny does. Opposition isn't just from the outside. Sometimes it rises inside of you. Fear, doubt, insecurity, that voice that says, who do you think you are? You're not ready. You'll fail, that voice is not from God. That voice is the echo of hell trying to drown out the whisper of heaven, and the louder that voice gets, the more certain you can be that what God has for you is *. You have to understand this truth. The enemy can't stop the blessing. So he tries to stop you. If he can get you to give up, he wins. If he can convince you to settle, to compromise, to go back to what's comfortable, he doesn't have to fight what you're becoming. But if you push through the pressure if you praise when it hurts, if you keep walking even when it would be easier to quit, then you will see that opposition is not your enemy. It's your announcement. It's the sound that heaven is about to move. It's the sign that your next season is near. It's the evidence that what God promised is worth fighting for. So if you're in a battle right now, don't let your knee buckle, let your faith rise, stand your ground, lift up your head, because the size of the opposition is a direct reflection of the size of the blessing that's coming. The enemy sees it, even if you don't yet. When God is about to give you something big, he calls you to obedience that doesn't always make sense. He doesn't just hand over the blessing. You must walk in faith and do what he says even when it defies logic, challenges comfort, and stretches your willingness to surrender. Obedience is the soil in which the miraculous grows. God rarely shows the full picture. Instead, he gives a step one step, and then he watches. Will you obey even when you don't see how it ends? Will you trust him enough to move when the map is incomplete? That kind of obedience is not built on emotion. It's built on conviction. It says, God, I don't understand, but I believe you. I don't see it, but I'll follow. Think of Noah. God told him to build an ark when there had never been rain, no storm clouds, no rising tides, just a word. And for over 100 years, Noah obeyed while others mocked. Day after day, he cut wood, hammered nails, and followed God's blueprint with no evidence that what God said would happen was even possible. That's not just obedience. That's radical obedience. And when the flood finally came, Noah didn't have to run. He just had to float on the obedience he had already built. Or Joshua marching around the walls of Jericho. God told him to circle the city, not once, not twice, but 7 times, without lifting a weapon. Can you imagine how foolish that must have felt by the 5th lap? But Joshua didn't argue, he obeyed. And on that 7th day, after that 7th lap, with just a shout, the walls fell flat. Not because of their strength, but because of their obedience. God works through surrendered hearts. He's not looking for talent. He's looking for trust. He's not asking if you're ready. He's asking if you're willing. And that willingness will always be tested through obedience. It might be giving something up. It might be staying when you want to leave, forgiving someone who hurt you, starting something you feel unqualified to do, and your mind will say, this doesn't make sense. But your spirit must rise and say, but God said it. I remember a woman who told me how God asked her to give the last of her savings to a single mother in her church. She hesitated. After all, she needed that money too, but she obeyed. A week later, she was offered a position at a company she hadn't even applied to, with a salary that tripled what she gave. Now, is God a transaction? No. But he honors obedience not because of the act itself, but because obedience reveals the heart. It says, Lord, I trust you more than I trust me. Obedience is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just choosing not to respond in anger. choosing to show up day after day in faithfulness, choosing to keep praying when nothing is changing. Those small acts build the foundation for something big. God sees every step, and every step of obedience moves you closer to what He's prepared for you. Some of you have been waiting on God, but God is waiting on you, waiting for you to obey that thing He already told you, waiting for you to release what's in your hand so He can place something greater in it. The blessing doesn't come before obedience. The miracle doesn't precede the movement. The provision follows the asterisk, yes asterisk. So if you hear Him calling, if He's nudging your heart, don't delay, don't reason it away, don't wait until it's safe or easy, obey. Because your obedience today is the key that will unlock the doors of tomorrow. When God is about to give you something big, He requires you to be prepared to handle it. This is where many people miss the mark. They want the blessing, they want the breakthrough, they want the harvest, but they're not willing to do the work necessary to asterisk carry asterisk it. God doesn't just want to bless you, He wants to bless you in a way that will bring Him glory and bring lasting fruit. To do that, He has to prepare you, not just in your circumstances, but in your character, your heart, your mind, and your capacity. Preparation is not an event, it's a process. It's the behind the scenes work that no one sees. It's the hours of training that go unnoticed. It's the decisions made in private that shape the public victory. When God is preparing you for something big, it's easy to feel like nothing is happening. You feel stuck, like you're in a holding pattern, and the blessings of others seem to come faster and easier. But in reality, God is positioning you. He's shaping you into someone who can handle what He has in store. Because what you're praying for today might be too heavy for you to carry tomorrow if you're not ready. Take David, for example. Before he became king, he spent years in the wilderness. He wasn't in a palace. He was in the fields watching sheep, learning how to protect his flock, learning how to lead in obscurity. No one saw the time he spent practicing with his sling, defeating lions and bears. But all of it was preparation for the day he would face Goliath. When that moment came, he didn't hesitate. He was ready. He had been prepared through years of hidden battles, of trials that seemed insignificant at the time. But God was shaping him, molding him into the warrior he needed to be to step into his destiny. And then there's Esther. She was an orphan, living in a foreign land, with no idea she was about to become the Queen of Persia. But for months she went through a rigorous preparation process, being trained, being groomed, learning the ways of the palace, learning how to influence and navigate the world of kings. In that process, she didn't realize she was being prepared to save a nation. It was in her preparation that her courage and wisdom were forged, and when the moment came for her to act, she didn't shrink back. She stepped up because she was ready. Preparation often looks like delay. It feels like waiting, like nothing is happening. But remember this, God is never wasting your time. Every season of waiting, every moment of hardship, is part of the training ground for your next assignment. God is equipping you with the skills you'll need to stand in the place He's calling you to. He's developing your patience, your perseverance, your trust in Him. And sometimes it's the hardest seasons that teach you the most. They stretch your faith, deepen your character, and prepare you for the weight of what's coming. I've seen countless people who prayed for promotion, prayed for increase, prayed for the next level, and then when it came, they couldn't handle it. They weren't ready for the responsibility. They weren't ready for the pressure. They didn't have the foundation of character to sustain them, and so they crumbled under the weight of the blessing. It's heartbreaking because those people truly wanted God's best for their lives. They just weren't willing to put in the work to prepare for it. God will never give you a blessing that you're not ready to steward. He loves you too much to allow you to stumble under the weight of something that would harm you. He would rather see you in the wilderness learning to depend on Him, learning to trust Him, than see you prematurely elevated and unprepared for what's ahead. If you're in a season of preparation right now, if it feels like nothing is moving, like the doors aren't opening, like the breakthrough is taking forever, I want to encourage you, don't rush the process, trust that God is doing something in you that's far more important than anything happening around you. He's building you. He's making you into someone who can carry the weight of the blessing. And when the time is right, when you're ready, the doors will swing wide open, and you'll step into the promise He has prepared for you. Every season of waiting, every moment of preparation is a gift from God, because He's not just giving you something big, He's making you the kind of person who can handle something big. You're being forged, refined, and shaped into a vessel that will not only carry the blessing, but will pour it out to others for His glory.